What's good? We back in the building again. 3kingsboxing.com. It's your host 2K. Of course, I'm here with my man, Mr. Bo, aka I ain't gonna do it to him this time, man. How you doing, dog? Look,
I'm about to say, come on, man.
My man heart dropping shit when I say AKA.
I'm like, come on, man, not again. Like, man, I'm like, man, you was and you know what's fucked up is you over there at your mama's and you treating your elders like this. Like, come on, man.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? She understands, so that's why I'm going to go live fucking 12:30 a.m., Central Time. It's 1:30 Eastern Time right now. It's late than a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
It's a Friday, though, so a lot of motherfuckers is still up. So.
Shit, it's Saturday. It ain't Friday. It's Sunday.
You see, you do you see what happens when you work too many hours?
Yeah. Cat's got to go to church in the morning, man. So
I don't know.
It is what it is.
I've been a heathen my whole life. That shit ain't changing. I need more than a little bit of church. Goddamn.
Hell yeah. What's good, KVT? My man, I think my man is in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, man. My man KVT. What's good, fam?
I think he is. He might be in Australia.
Yeah. It's like the next day over there. It's March 11 over there and shit. But we going live now. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all we were going between podcasts every once in a while to talk about major topics. This one couldn't wait till Monday. We had to get on now. We had to talk about the Sean Porter, your Dennis Ugas matchup. That happened just last night, however you want to call it. If you want to be technical, last night, you know what I'm saying? A lot of cats is out there screaming robbery. And we're here to tell you why this fight is not a robbery, amongst other things. Also, we want to talk a little bit about Dmitry Bivol. And we've been saying on the last couple of podcasts about Dmitry Bivol how he takes his foot off the gas. He's got an issue with being able to take his fucking opponents out when they're wounded animals. You know what I'm saying? He done shot the motherfucker up. He barely walked. You know what I'm saying? And he can't take them out, man. That's a major flaw for Dmitry Bivol, and we're going to jump into that shit tonight. But I'm going to pass it over to my man, Bo, man. He got a little bit of fire under his ass about this whole your Dennis Ugas, Sean Porter situation, man. Go get him.
All right, man. So first off, man, let me just say this right here, okay? This is what I don't like, right? Boxing has become a sport that in order for me to get my point across, sometimes I feel like I got to justify it by telling you, like I got to start this shit off with like, okay, I think so-and-so won just to justify my fucking point. It never used to fucking be like this. Why? Because motherfuckers understood the difference between a close fight and a goddamn robbery. The term robbery in boxing is starting to become a fucking thing that everybody is saying as if, you get $1 for every time you fucking say this shit. Okay?
Yeah.
There's close fights, y'all, and then there's fucking robberies. Okay? Whitaker and Oscar, Whitaker and Chavez, Ali versus Spinks rematch. Like this shit is not, and then you got cat. Oh, look at PBC. This ain't a PBC problem. This shit been in boxing for a long fucking time. Bad decisions and robberies have been in boxing for a long motherfucking time. Okay, Walters and Sosa, Hooker and Perez, Froch and fucking Darrell, Pacquiao and Horn, Lewis and fucking Holyfield, Hagler and Sugar Ray, Aaron Pryor, Duck and fucking Leonard. All right, Lauder and Williams, Frezzo, Kendall and Bird, Taylor and Wright, Hopkins and Pasquale, Oscar and Trinidad. That's off the dome. That's off the fucking dome. Okay? Because those fucking Tyson Fury and motherfucking Wilder.
Yeah.
There are fights that are bad decisions, there are fights that are robberies, but then there are just close fights that can go either fucking way. Everybody's talking about this shit being a robbery, that they felt that Ugas should have won, but I'm like, you feel that way, but you ain't got nothing to say about that one judge that scored it 117, 111 for him. I didn't see that shit.
Right.
I didn't see no 117, one motherfucking 11.
Yeah.
So, man, motherfuckers got to learn the difference between close fights and robberies. This was a close fight. Now, for the record, I saved this for the show. For the record, my scorecard, 115, 113, Ugas, and I picked Porter to win.
Right.
But you can make the argument that there were rounds where, because of Ugas' this is why I say sometimes you have to definitively beat the fucking champion. You can't think I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm good. Ugas, what Ugas was doing, there were some rounds, especially in 10 and 11, there were some rounds when Porter was boxing. What Ugas was allowing Porter to do is to show the judges, I'm still fresh, I'm still in this because I'm moving around, I'm jumping in and out boxing, and I'm jumping in, I'm getting back out, I'm jumping in, I'm getting back out. So I'm still doing things. So what he did was he effectively allowed Porter to show that, hey, I'm the person that's still trying to do things here, while Ugas is just waiting to catch me with a shot or two. Okay, I'm the person that's showing y'all that, hey, man, I'm still, the more active fighter, or I'm still the more mobile fighter, or I'm still the more, thinking fighter here. Where this guy, he's just waiting to see what I'm gonna do. He's standing there and just stalking me, waiting to see what I'm gonna do. So that's what he was also showing to the fucking judges. Ugas should have jumped on Sean Porter, right? Like, for him to be the bigger man, because he was a taller man with the longer arm reach. He should have tried to impose, especially when he saw Sean Porter was trying to impose his will. Then when Sean Porter tried, he was able to withstand it. You should have tried to impose your will on him. But it was a close fight. Like, I can see people making the case, man, that Sean Porter won this fight. I didn't have a problem with it because I'm like, there was at least a good 2-3 rounds myself that I saw that you can say, well, because of there were some rounds where they were close rounds, but there was one round I thought Sean Porter won that I gave the Ugas, but I said you can make the case Porter won it because of the he landed like a hook, and he landed like a right overhead right, then a left hook. And I said, hey man, and it was big and it was very noticeable. I'm like, that could have been enough to win the round for him.
Right.
Especially him being the fucking champ, which is something else we gonna fucking talk about. All right. Motherfuckers need to bottom line, man. Motherfuckers learn what a close fight is.
Right. So I want to address a couple of things. We got somebody in the chat. First of all, he or she, I'm not sure if it's a male or female, but they came in and immediately thought we were LDBC, and said that he had to fight 10-2 for your Dennis Ugas. Now, I find that very hard to believe it's 10-2, but I want to address that not every channel that you see is LDBC. Now, we do affiliate with 78 in terms of he uses our website for information, but we are not LDBC. That's number one. But there are guys that are in the LDBC that we talk to that we're okay with, we're cool with. You know what I'm saying? Number two, this channel is based off of the website, threekingsboxing.com. If you don't know, go on over there and head over there, man. The most unbiased website in boxing. You know what I'm saying? This channel is unbiased. We give you boxing information. We have guys that don't like a bunch of other channels, but come to this channel and they pay their respect here. You know what I'm saying? So just a little background information on us. But in terms of Ugas Porter, this is the thing, man. And shout out to my writer, Tanner, our newest writer. He went ape shit on this. You know what I'm saying? He went ape shit. And his thing was, Ugas clearly won 7-5. He wasn't saying 10-2. He was saying he clearly won 7-5. Now, my thing is this. To me, the fight was close enough that it can go either way, just like my man Bo just mentioned, right? But the problem is, this is the problem. When you're the challenger, and your name is not as marketable as the champion, you have to win decisively, okay? Now, this is under the premise of us understanding that this fight was close. If you thought it was 10-2 or 12-0, then you won't understand this. You know what I'm saying? This is for the people that understand that this is an 8-4 fight, 7-5 fight. What's good, Chris? You know what I'm saying? A 6-6 fight, something like that. Or the fight could have gone either way. You know what I'm saying? That's where you would understand where we're coming from, because that's where we're speaking from. So in this situation, when it's a close fight, because there's a bunch of swing rounds and you're not a marketable name, but your fucking opponent is, and your opponent happens to be the champion, you gotta win those rounds decisively. You can't give up swing rounds. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, hey man, I won the championship because I barely won these rounds. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Here's the problem. And it's a problem in boxing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's correct. It is a problem in boxing. But these fighters got to be aware of it. And Bo touched it. The way for Ugas to be aware of it, he had to jump on Porter. You know what I'm saying? He had to throw more punches. He had to land more punches. All right. He had to establish the ring generalship from round 1 on. He couldn't lose it. You can't lose it. If you start to lose it, you got to do more to regain it. Right. It's kind of like a situation where you're against all odds. Right. All right. Right. If you're against all odds, if you're doing something and you're against all odds, right? What do you have to do to make those odds even or to sway them in your favor? You got to work 10 times as fucking hard than the person that's already the favorite. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be decisive in how you do shit so them odds can be swung into your favor. That's the fucking problem with Ugas. He wasn't decisive enough in each round to swing those odds into his favor. Because this is the bottom line. Before this fight, nobody was saying, yo, hey man, I can't wait to see your Dennis Ugas fight the winner of Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear nobody saying, hey, yo, dog, I can't wait until your Dennis Ugas gets that Keith Thurman matchup. I didn't hear that either. But I did hear those two things for the champion, Sean Porter. So therefore, when the judges are evaluating close rounds, given his name is much more marketable than his opponents, right? There's money to be made there for him to win. In close rounds, they're going to give it to the champion. That's what they did. And that's why you saw this here. That's why it's not a robbery. That and the fight was close. Can't have a robbery when the fight is close. When we talk robberies, we're talking Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker, right? My man Bo's favorite that he was telling me, Oscar De La Hoya, Tito Trinidad,
and
right?
Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Strum.
Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Sturm. That was a major fucking robbery. You know what I'm saying? Major. Felix Sturm beat the shit out of Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? You know, just recently, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Yep. I had a situation where, you know, I felt that was a robbery. I thought Tyson Fury won that fight decisively. But here's the situation. I gave this example to my writer. I said the same thing here. Why do you think the judges called it a draw? Is because of the marketability factor, right? It's because of a little bit of home cooking, obviously, too, right? But the rounds that the judges perceived to be swing rounds, they said, we giving those to Deontay Wilder. That's what they did. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, another one, Chris De La Hoya, Mosley, too. That's another robbery, right?
I don't. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I remember watching that fight that De La Hoya Mosley, and this is when Max Kellerman. That's when to me that was the beginning of Max Kellerman and then corporate Max, because Max Kellerman said, well, you can make the case that Mosley, although he didn't land the more punches, he landed the more definitive, decisive punches that got attention. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You don't score. Like, what?
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, there's a big difference there, man. You know, robberies and close fights that could go either way, that go in the favor of a guy that you don't favor. There's big differences there. You know what I'm saying? Neutral natural, nah. In my opinion, Omar Figueroa, John Molina was not a robbery. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. It's not a robbery. That's a fight. That's another fight that could have gone either way. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of Fury choking, he said this as well. He said Fury choked. I mean, hey, if you felt Fury choked in round 9 and round 12, that's fine. But round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11, he didn't choke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and he probably lost maybe, I think I gave Deontay Wilder 3 or maybe 4 rounds in that fight. I think I gave him 3 rounds in that fight. I can't remember.
I gave him 4. Yeah. 1 and 2, and then 9 and 12.
In my opinion, I know I didn't give him 1 and 2. I gave him one of those 2. But the thing is, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Even with the knockdowns, it wasn't a draw. My scorecard was still Tyson Fury, and there was no moving from that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. Ugas wasn't decisive. All right. And you got to be decisive when you don't have the bigger name, I mean, he has a zero name. He's probably the least known Cuban, you know what I'm saying, outside of the ones that are just coming in, like Rances Barthelemy little brother and shit. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of fighters that have been in the sport for a very long time, Cuban fighters that have been in the professional ranks for a long time, he's probably the least known of the top-rated Cuban contenders. He's probably the least known.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going against a guy that is one of the best-known fighters in welterweight. So he's got to win decisively. That's the problem, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Robbery, I mean, people gotta understand what the difference is between a close fight and a robbery, man. We gotta get that ground set, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna happen every fucking time. You know, judges are supposed to score fights based on the 4 criteria, right? Ring generalship, effective aggression, defense, and accuracy.
Okay, correct.
Those are the 4 criteria judges are supposed to score a fight. But you got to understand, since the inception of boxing, since boxing first started, since it was bare knuckles and shit, and they had judging, you know what I'm saying? The more popular fighter would always get the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's since the inception of boxing. All right, the champion will always get the edge. If it's too close of a fight to call, they're always going to get the edge. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. You got anything to touch on, Bo?
Well, you know what, too, and you know, because you named, I remember Lotta versus Paul Williams, and that was a fight where Lotta clearly, this wasn't no Ugas shit. He clearly was whooping Paul Williams' ass, right?
Oh, yeah, man. Exactly.
Whooping Paul Williams' ass, and he got it. But, you know, I think a lot of times, too, man, is because, you know, I'm reading some of the comments, and although I disagree with some of the comments, and let me say this, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Sometimes I also feel that guys for me, I will have a tendency to judge a fight or a fighter based off, you know, my style that works for me, right? But I can also still see and relate to somebody else's style that doesn't work for me and still judge based off those 4 criteria that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of guys don't necessarily judge it that way. They probably don't judge it off those 4 criteria. Maybe they judge it off 3. Hell, maybe they judge it off 2. You see what I'm saying? So the whole, you know, people feeling who did this, who did that or how they do it. I don't get into the argument of how many rounds you think this guy fought, because that argument to me is based off, okay, how do you judge a fight? Because if you judge it the way I'm saying that I judge it, like which one do you hold more accountable? Then once I hear your perspective, I'm like, okay, we can talk, because I actually after 4 rounds I had it even. I thought Sean Porter won the first 2. Then Ugas clearly won fucking 3 and 4. He was hitting Sean Porter with the counters. Okay. He was actually being more aggressive coming at Sean Porter, which is something he didn't do in the later fight. Later fight, he was just standing there waiting on Porter to come to him. In the early part of the fight, he was in round, especially round 3 and 4, he was actually going at Sean Porter. He stopped attacking the body viciously like he was earlier. Okay. So I had it even. Now, with that being said, I was reading some guys, someone's, oh man, I got 3-1 Ugas. And I'm like, okay, explain to me, you know, what did you see that made you get 3-1? Because I thought Sean Porter clearly won the first 2, because he was doing more in the first 2 than Ugas picked up in 3 and 4. And when I was asking people, well, what makes you have it 3-1? You know, they were just saying, well, the 2 body shots Ugas landed. I said, no, man, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than just him landing some two body shots.
Yeah,
he landed early. Like, oh well, he landed 2 body shots like early in the round. Well, no. You don't just give him a round because he landed 2 body shots early in the round. What happened the rest of the fucking round? You know, and then on top of that, people got to understand. Judges don't necessarily. In the history of boxing, there's always been a thing with judges scoring body shots. That's always been a thing. They don't always see it. That's always been a thing. And I don't know who the fuck was doing the punch count land tonight, but there's no way I believe Sean Porter landed more punches than Ugas. And I think they had
they were killing that shit.
Yeah, they had Sean Porter outlanded Ugas by like 20 some punches in a round. So what the fuck? Ain't no goddamn way he outlanded him like that. You know?
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a problem we're going to have. I think because of boxing being so commercial and boxing not teaching people the sport and being more so about the knockout or selling the product instead of teaching you the sport, you're going to have this type of confusion where people are going to scream robbery, because let's be real, when you scream robbery in boxing nowadays, robbery results in the cash. Why? Because they say, okay, well then shit, everybody think it's a robbery. Let's run this back and let's make some money. And that's exactly what happened. Don't be shocked if you hear about them trying to run this back.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them trying to run it back. Listen, man, this is how I saw the fight. I just put it in the chat. I thought Ugas won the fight.
Okay, cool.
But I understand why he did not win the fight, and I've already covered that. You have to win decisively when you're the challenger, and the guy you're fighting is like, let's say this. David Benavidez right now is the champion in recess at 168 pounds, right?
Right.
Andre Durrell is the WBC champion. He just beat Avni Yildirim, correct?
Yes.
Now, in that matchup, David Benavidez is the more popular entity than Anthony Durrell. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, let's say it shouldn't be. Benavidez should beat the dust off of Anthony Durrell, right? But let's say that, the moon is fucking green and Anthony Durrell is in that fight, and it's a very close fight. I'm telling you right now, David Benavidez gets the nod. Why?
Well, we've seen that once already.
Yeah, with the I can't think of the guy's name.
Frank Gavel.
Yeah, Gavril. I can't think of his first name. But yeah, we already seen that once already, exactly. But I could use Anthony Durrell, who is a bigger entity than Gavril, and David Benavidez. I can guarantee you right now, he still gets the nod because he's the more popular entity. He's more marketable. You know what I'm saying? There's always something going on in a fucking Durrell fight, whether it's Andre or Anthony. You know what I'm saying? So the fighter that has the more potential, the fighter that's the more marketable, the fighter that has the better skill set, regardless of him being in that close fight with a fighter that doesn't match his skill per se, they're going to give him the nod. That's my fucking point. If it's a close fight, you see what I'm saying? So Ugas, man, he did good early. Like somebody said earlier up in the chat, Ugas decisively won round 1. Yeah, I have no problem with that. But that's just 1 round out of 12. You see what I'm saying? There was a bunch of there's like 5 or 6 swing rounds in that motherfucker, man.
Yeah, it was, man.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just me being nice, saying 5 or 6. So, you win round 1 decisively, but then you give up 6 swing rounds. You know what I'm saying? You're already at a disadvantage. If the judges are looking at it the way that I say that they did, the way that it seemed like they did, for why they gave Porter that fight. You see what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, this is what Ugas' team should have prepared him for. They should have been like, dog, you got to stay active. You got to keep coming at dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't take your foot off the gas. Right? We know you're a slick fighter, but you might have to be out of your comfort zone a little bit because it's a tall order to try to defeat this guy on the cards. You see what I'm saying? Porter's never been knocked out. Ugas don't really have a big punch. So that was a long shot right there. So his team should have prepared him. Hey, you got to keep moving. You got to keep the volume up, right? And you got to keep yourself from getting hit. Ugas did not do that. He stayed in the pocket for a lot of the fucking fight. You stay in the pocket for a long time and you're trading shots with the champion to where at the end of that exchange, it could have gone either way. Guess who they're going to give it to?
Yeah. And hold on. And don't think we letting Sean Porter off easy. This was the wrong fucking game plan. Like, I don't know what the fuck they was thinking.
Oh, Bo would tell you I was mad.
Man.
It was a terrible fucking game plan for Sean Porter. He fought completely, absolutely the wrong fucking fight.
Yeah. See,
you know what I'm saying?
And actually, and you know what's funny is I believe that because of that way that Sean Porter fought, that a lot of people probably felt he lost that fight.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of, and we get trapped in to how a guy normally looks. He don't normally look like that. And I think because Sean Porter fought this type of fight, a lot of people can look at that and feel like, well, man, he's not fighting the type of fight we used to seeing him. And that can be hard to score when a dude is fighting a different type of fight than you used to seeing him fight. That can be really hard to score because now you got to look for shit that you ain't used to looking for.
Exactly. Exactly.
So he actually, in my honest opinion, Porter made it hard on himself by like, how the fuck are you the shorter fighter and trying to be a fighter from the outside? What the fuck?
Yeah, it was a dumbass game plan, and that's where Ugas was taking a lot of the rounds on my scorecard. Sean Porter. My thing was, bro, you need to do what you need to do. We said this on the last podcast. You need to do what you normally do, and that's tackle motherfuckers. That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be, my man Reggie White in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He needed to tackle cats. Brian Urlacher. That's what he needed to be in there. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like, I said this to Bo, I felt like my man let the fact that he showed great boxing ability against Danny Garcia get to his head. You see what I'm saying? He showed excellent boxing ability against Danny Garcia, but this wasn't Danny Garcia, right? Your Dennis Ugas isn't just standing there waiting so he can counter you with a check left hook. That's not Ugas. You know what I'm saying? So that was the problem with Sean Porter. He let that shit get to his head, so he came into this fight thinking he can outbox the boxer, and he was getting caught up early in the fight, and that's what ultimately allowed me to give the rounds to Ugas, to where he ultimately won the fight on my card. Also, Sean Porter was wild as fuck. He was more wild than he normally is.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Actually, you're right.
He was extremely wild, dog. I was just like, what the fuck is this cat doing?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's dipping low, trying to get in, but he's not throwing any punches. And Ugas, one thing that pissed me off about Ugas, whenever Sean Porter was doing that, dipping low, trying to get in, Ugas would stop and he would clam up. He would get into a defensive shell.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are you doing? If you're trying to do what Kell Brook did, check left hook him, because we've already seen Sean Porter is susceptible to that, right? Kell Brook was check left hooking this motherfucker the whole fight. Adrian Broner landed the check left hook in the 12th round of their fight and knocked him down. He's susceptible to that. So why isn't your Dennis Ugas check left hooking him and tying him up, or trying to get him to smother his punches, or shit, giving him some body work like he did earlier in the fight, right? But instead, he would, when Porter actually said, all right, I'm gonna tackle this nigga, he would clam up, put his hands up into a defensive shell, and he would allow Sean Porter to do what the fuck he wanted to do on the inside. The only time that Ugas really went to the body the right way was when he had him up against the ropes. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, Ugas won the fight. Like I said, in my opinion, he won the fight.
No, I did too. I felt that.
Hold on. Right, Sean Porter fought a terrible game plan. I'm saying this to you guys, but at the same time, I'm telling you, Ugas did not win enough rounds decisively, given his position and status going into this fight. You guys have been around boxing long enough to understand that shit matters. Y'all know this. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, I'm my man Christopher Thomas. He said that he thought Strom won 7. I thought Strong won 8 rounds myself against Oscar, maybe even 9, but 8 for sure. I thought 8 decisively he won for sure against Oscar.
I had Felix Stern winning 8 rounds against Oscar De La Hoya. He asked us, he said, what's y'all's opinion? Can a fighter win 7 rounds more decisively and get robbed? Yeah, Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Tyson, we already covered that, Chris. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury won 9 rounds in my book, won 8 rounds in Bo's book.
Yeah.
And he got robbed. So yeah, that can happen. You know, but at the end of the day, you don't go into the fight thinking that, oh shit, dog, let me not win these rounds decisively, because hey, even if I do win decisively, I'm still gonna get robbed.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right. And see, and I'm gonna tell you something too, man. It was frustrating really to watch that fight, because Sean Porter, outside him fighting the wrong game plan, like I said, man, it just really felt like Ugas made the mistake of thinking, okay, we're being successful in what we're doing, and we're doing enough, right, to where we should, win this fight.
Right.
Instead of him going out, because I heard his corner telling him, man, you got 3 minutes, go out here. And it's almost as if Ugas, because I even saying him, because I think you can't know this. I was saying, hey man, Ugas, stop that showboating, dog. Stop that shit. It's too fucking early for you to be showboating and all that shit. Stop that shit and get in Porter's ass. Like sometimes, man, in any fucking sport, whether it's basketball, football, whatever, sometimes, man, you have to just take that shit from the fucking champion. Sometimes you got to just take it from him. Sometimes you got to go out there, man, give me this. Sit your ass. Sometimes you just got to go out there and just take it from him. And what Ugas did was, his biggest mistake that he made was, again, he allowed himself to think that he was doing enough to where the judges was just going to give him the fight. No, you should have taken that motherfucker. Now, again, I thought he won the fight. I had Ugas winning 7-5, 115, 113. But I can tell you there was a good 2-3 swing rounds that I was looking at myself where I'm like, you can easily make this case for Sean Porter. It was that close to the fight. I don't think it was a robbery. Like, hell, matter of fact, if they would have even said a draw, I'd have been like, all right, bet. I've been like, all right, bet.
Yeah, like, we talked about before we went live, Erislandy Law and Brian Castano. I had that fight a draw, flat out, point blank and period. That was a draw to me. You know what I'm saying? But Steve Farhood had Erislandy Law winning.
That one I didn't. I either felt that fight was a draw or Castano should have won.
And that's what I was getting ready to say, because Bo had Castano should have won that fight.
Yeah.
I had it a clear-cut draw, so that's another situation. But that fight was, in my opinion, was judged fairly, but you had people running out saying it was a robbery. It was not a robbery. No, that was a fairly judged fight.
Yeah, yes, it was.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the problem, man. Look at let's look at Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz. To answer your question again, Chris, Luis Ortiz was winning that fight. But at the time of the stoppage, and they read the scorecards, all the judges had Deontay Wilder winning that fight handily.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. Man, I was like, what?
They're getting ready to rob the shit out of Luis Ortiz if he was stayed on his feet or not.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's another situation, man. Those are robberies, borderline robberies. This was a close fight, man.
It was.
And it's Ugas' fault that it was a close fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, at certain times when he should have boxed. And this is what I told you guys on the last podcast before we go over to the next one. This is what I told you guys on the last couple of podcasts, actually. Your Dennis Ugas is a 147-pound version of Tevin Farmer. The only difference is Tevin Farmer doesn't start sitting in the pocket until like round 7 or 8. Your Dennis Ugas fucking does it at round 3 or 4. That's what I said on the last podcast. What round did he start sitting in the pocket, Bo, in this fight?
It was goddamn round 3 because I tweeted that. Yep. What the fuck is he doing in early? And to point out your fight with Tevin Farmer was he actually got robbed in the fight. And that's the reason. And the guy he got robbed to, they failed some tests, but he got robbed in the fight that he clearly should have won because he did the same thing Ugas did.
Exactly.
He thought he had this lead. And instead of staying on the gas, felt, all right, I'm going to stay back here, use my defense, pick off shit and land. And he wound up losing.
Exactly.
But I thought he won that handily.
Exactly. You know, that's the situation. You know, so I knew that Ugas was going. Listen, man, you got to understand this too. This is another thing y'all got to understand, man. There's so much shit we could talk about on this, man. I can go all night on this motherfucker right here, man.
Me too.
There's so much you got to understand is, when you're sitting in the pocket, right? And people know you as a slick fighter. They know you use lateral movement. They know you like to fight off the back foot at times. They know you command everything behind that jab. Everything you do starts with the jab. When judges know that about you, but then they see you sitting in the pocket, they see you kind of, somewhat giving up ground in the pocket.
Yeah.
Against the champion that's more of a marketable name. It's almost 100% guaranteed they're going to give him that round, or at least they're going to give him that exchange. You see what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
I mean, there's so many different fucking ways you can look at this for why Ugas didn't get the win. So I mean, what do we do here? Do we go and tell judges, or at least these boxing commissions, that they need to tell these judges to be retaught? Do we eliminate bias out of our judging, out of the judging system, right? What are we supposed to do here?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this thing right here, what we saw tonight, is something that has been around since the inception of the sport.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of that? Go ahead, Bo.
No, my man, do y'all want to see a rematch or a Porter versus Spence Mikey win? I actually want to see a rematch. I actually think that they should run this one back. I really do. It was that close of a fight now. Sean Porter, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that wasn't the right Sean Porter that we saw tonight. I don't know what that was. I don't know who the fuck got in his head. I'm even listening to Kenny Porter. I'm like, why ain't Kenny Porter telling Sean? And then what was crazy was, right, 2K tweeted this when Porter jumped in on him. He like, yeah, do that. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. When this motherfucker turned into you know what I'm saying, a Brian Urlacher and shit, that's when I was like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And that's when Ugas was getting tagged up, because Ugas doesn't fucking move like he should.
No, and then he shells up when you get inside of him, like you said.
Yeah, he was shelling up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Sean Porter definitely got to learn to go to the body more, because when he was getting inside, he wasn't going. He almost completely ignored Ugas. I think he landed, 13, 14 body shots total? That's fucking ridiculous.
Man, it was the same thing with Erislandy Lara against everybody he's ever fought.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker don't go to the body for nothing. Head hunting his ass off. I mean, there was times where Ugas, the bigger man in this fight, which was actually a surprise, he was hunched over, right?
Yeah.
And Sean Porter is head hunting so much, he's missing all his shots, but all he would have to do is throw a shot to the body. He would have hit Ugas in the head. Yeah. That's how hunched over Ugas was. But he was still so steadfast on head hunting that he was shooting shots to the head and missing. I was like, this dog, he was pissing me off, man. Sean Porter was pissing me the fuck off. And, besides the fact that I thought Ugas won more rounds, that was one of the reasons why I thought he lost the fight. He had a terrible game plan, and he did not execute it thoroughly. It was a terrible job from fucking Sean Porter.
Terrible game plan. It was terrible. I've never seen that. And like you said, he made it harder. He made the fight even. You know what's funny? Somebody said something to me today. Shout out to my man Mateo. He said, "Man, Sean Porter fights are never decisive with his victories." And I'm like, "You fucking right. You fucking right."
Right.
His last couple of fights, man. He hasn't been extremely decisive. I mean, you can even with him and Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? You can make that case. Now, of course, I felt he beat Broner, and of course, Pauly. But dog, yeah. So
that was his last decisive win. Was Adrian Broner.
Adrian Broner, yeah.
That was his last decisive win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When my man KVT said Porter did no favors for himself. No, he didn't.
100%, he did.
But neither did Ugas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true too.
Especially on the inside, when Porter started to actually apply that pressure, he definitely didn't do any favors for himself, and that's why he lost his fight. Yeah, that's why the judges thought he lost it anyway.
Yeah, Porter does have a style that used up a lot of energy, but what he did today actually used up more energy because he was using more of his legs moving around the ring instead of him staying on the inside trying to go at you.
Right.
So what he actually tried to do today was probably using up more energy. Now, I also believe that a lot of reason why Porter was doing what he was doing was because the early body shots was affecting him. And I do think that 1.8 pounds, although it may not affect him as from a physical standpoint, but I think from a mental standpoint, it probably played an effect on Porter because he's never came in overweight before ever. And I think he made 4 attempts at trying to get the weight down. So that could mentally play on you. I mean, hell, he even had to cut his hair. So that could mentally play on you, man. That can mentally play on you. You making 4 attempts to make weight. All right. So that can have a mental effect. And we all know whatever happens to you mentally can affect you physically because Porter he didn't even raise his hands at the end of the fight. Yeah. He didn't raise his hands, act like he was the goddamn winner. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why people might think that he should have lost that fight. Man, look at he didn't even raise his hands at the end. So I mean, there's so, like I said, like my man said, there's so many things we can talk about, man. And listen, shout out to y'all for even understanding. But it's such a thing with boxing that everybody wants to call everything a robbery and not understand what a close fight really is. Now, if you want to say you felt Ugas won, don't have a problem with it. You want to say, man, I felt
problem with it.
Don't have a problem with it because it was a split decision. So that
Right.
tells me the judges saw it the way some of us saw this fight right here.
Exactly.
So
exactly. So how much do you think the weight problems had in choosing his style? This is from Chris.
I don't think that had much of a problem, only because listening to what Kenny Porter was saying in the corner, that was their game plan. The way he fought, that was their game plan.
Right.
Like if you listen to what Kenny Porter was telling him in the corner, that sounded like that was their game plan. And I truly believe, Ugas has only been 12 rounds once. And I truly believe they thought they could get him into deep waters. You know, he faded a little bit, then we'll jump on him. The problem was he came fucking ready. Right. That was the problem. He came fucking ready. There wasn't no fading him. And then I generally tell people, in order for a fighter to fade, you have to do shit to make him exert energy to fade. When you don't do that, when you don't do stuff to make a fighter fade, then he's not going to do it. Like Sean Porter wasn't doing anything to physically make Ugas spend a lot of energy, because like I remember, Ugas was just standing there sometimes waiting on Porter to come at him. He wasn't. So I'm like, you waste, like if I'm standing waiting on you, I'm not wasting no energy at all, period.
Right.
So he wasn't doing anything to make Ugas burn energy. He wasn't applying pressure on Ugas, pushing him back up against the ropes, mauling him up against. He wasn't doing none of that shit. So Ugas was able to stay fresh. So it was just the wrong game plan, in my honest opinion, from them.
Oh, terrible game plan. But I agree that they probably should run it back, because to be honest with you, man, and we reported on this, Sean Porter is talking about, crashing the ring, for the winner of Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence Jr. And I'm gonna be at that fight. We're gonna be at the fight. Three Kings is gonna be at that fight.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna try to get an interview with Sean Porter and see if he can talk to me a little bit about the Yordenis Ugas fight and what his thoughts, and talking about a rematch. You know what I'm saying? And I'll definitely post that on this channel if I can get that interview. But I don't think he should go for the winner of Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence. If Mikey Garcia beats Errol Spence, that's a whole nother fucking problem at 147, right?
Agreed.
If Errol Spence beats Mikey Garcia, that just continues the problem that was already live and well at 147, that at one point Porter wanted no problems with. You know what I'm saying? And given, how he fought in this fight, I see why he wouldn't want no problems with Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I don't think he should rematch Keith Thurman. Yes, the one that looked the way he looked against Jose Cito Lopez. I don't think he should rematch that guy.
You know what's funny about that? Sean Porter is the one that said Keith need more work.
Oh, bro, you need more work, bro. Listen, man. Keith. Let me say this: Sean Porter was very wild before he won the IBF title from Devin Alexander.
That's true.
He was wild in the fight where he won the title off of Devin Alexander, right? He was wild when he lost the IBF title to Kell Brook. You see what I'm saying? But after that, when he fought Keith Thurman, he developed that jab. And that jab, using that jab before he bowled his way in, that was actually showing that he had some type of he had an organizational attack, right? He wasn't just throwing this just forcing this aggression on his fighters and headbutting them, kneeing them in the dick and elbowing them in the side of the head and shit, all that, kicking niggas in the ankles. He wasn't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was more of a calculated attack when he developed that jab. But then in this fight, while he was trying to box and shit from the outside, when he got frustrated and realized that his dumbass couldn't outbox the slick Cuban boxer, where his background comes from, that's when he tried to bowl himself in. He said, fuck the jab, I'm just gonna run up in there like I did Devin Alexander. In this case, it was working for him, but he was still very wild. It didn't look good. So now he's at a dilemma. He's at a crossroads now. If you go fighting like that, what would be working for you against Yordenis Ugas, against Keith Thurman, if he's back to where he needs to be, 100% Keith Thurman, you lose again in a fucking rematch. You can't do that, right? If you try that shit with Errol Spence, you might get stopped, even though you've never been stopped. You see what I'm saying? We ain't even gonna mention Manny Pacquiao. I doubt that fight ever happens. You know, I would put Sean Porter the way he fought today. I would be like, man, fight Jeff Horn or somebody. Don't fuck with them other cats right now. Terrence Crawford, no, you don't want none of that.
Oh,
fight Jeff Horn. Fight Jeff Horn, bro.
Yeah,
you know,
Terrence Crawford. Yeah, stop.
Yeah. That was a bad. So I think, you know, based on what you were saying earlier, I do think he should look for the rematch because he needs to redeem himself, and he needs to reestablish his identity. Who is Sean Porter, and what does Sean Porter like to do? Does he box or does he fucking slug and run niggas over? You know what I'm saying? I like the second Sean Porter against your Dennis Ugas, but applying the jab with that attack. That's what I would like from that. You know, and Kenny Porter needs to tell him that shit, man. You can do that. Just apply the jab. Just throw the jab out there.
I'm just still trying to figure out how in the hell as the shorter fighter you think you can outbox a taller one. Like, I'm just trying to figure that, especially one like you said, he comes from that amateur pedigree background. Who the fuck thought, hey man, we're gonna outbox being the shorter fighter? And you know what's crazy? I'm watching him do this, and I'm watching at first his counters was missing by a country mile. I'm like, what the fuck?
Man, yo, let me tell you something, man. I'm watching the fight with my moms and shit. My mom, my wife, right? I'm visiting my mom for this weekend. We watching the fight. I've never heard my mom talk boxing ever. Right?
Oh wow. Oh hell no! Don't tell me. This
is what she did. This is what she said, boss. I shit you not. You can ask my wife. She said, "Look how the guy in the multicolored shorts is leaning forward before he throws a punch. He's gonna end up getting caught with an uppercut, and he gonna get knocked out." That's what she said. I put that on everything. I was like, "What the fuck?"
No, that's right.
Like, if he sees that tells you how wild this guy was in there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think he definitely needs to go for the rematch, man. He's not ready for nobody else. And as we always like to say, the moniker, boxing is all about what you have done lately, right? So lately, he's probably the weakest motherfucker in the division, the weakest top fighter in the division anyway.
Well, that's what he was just asking. Is Porter the weakest in the division? No, I don't think Porter's the weakest in the division.
He might be.
I think that Terrence Crawford is actually the weakest in the division.
All right, man. So let's move on to the next topic.
I'm just fucking joking. Don't you motherfuckers make memes about that shit, okay?
You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers know what you look like too, bro. They take one of your pictures and shit.
Motherfuckers do that shit. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one, man. This should be real quick. Dmitry Bivol basically pretty much confirmed what we've been saying about him. You know what I'm saying? Dmitry Bivol, he is the smartest fighter at light heavyweight. That's my opinion. I think the most skilled fighter at light heavyweight is Alexander Gvozdyk, right?
Right.
But in terms of overall IQ, skill level, all of that in one package, I got to go with Dmitry Bivol. But the problem is this. Dmitry Bivol has a fucking problem. He has a fucking problem with being able to take out his opponents.
Yes, he does.
And I think that is going to be a downfall later on, man. If he's fighting other guys, you know, let's say. Well,
it already is a downfall. It's a downfall because it's a downfall because it's going to be hard to market this guy.
Good point. And that was actually going to be a point that I was going to touch a little bit later.
Oh, my bad.
No, but you're fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. The thing is, Dmitry Bivol is talking about big fights at 168. Well, how are you going to get said big fights at 168 when you are not applying that? What is that? That excitement, right? You got a wounded animal in fucking Jean Pascal standing in front of you. Couldn't stop it.
No.
You got a wounded animal in Joe Smith Jr. These are his last two fights. Standing in front of you. Couldn't stop
it. She had a wounded animal in, what's that guy name? Chilemba.
Isaac Chilemba. Yeah. So how, you know, Isaac Chilemba is hard to stop, you know. And all those guys are, you know, these guys are hard. Joe Smith Jr. was stopped by Sully, I believe. Wasn't he stopped by Sully?
No, Sully won a decision though.
Okay, so all of these guys are hard to stop. We understand that. But it's not about Dmitry Bivol putting his all in trying to stop him and he wasn't able to do it. It's really all about Dmitry Bivol visibly taking his foot off the gas and just cruising to a unanimous decision victory. He visibly takes his foot off the gas, right? He actually says, fuck it. You know, I whooped this nigga ass from round 1 to 8. I'm about to chill, bro. Jab, 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 straight, move. You know, the guys are in there just done. Joseph Jr. was done in like round 5, man.
Yes, he was.
But he drug it out an extra 7 fucking rounds. He didn't try to stop him. He just drug it out an extra 7 rounds. That's going to be his downfall, man. Because if he gets in the ring with a smarter fighter than that, let me say this. If he gets in the ring with a guy that can match his intelligence, and he hurts that guy and he doesn't finish him off, guess what that guy's going to do next? He's going to make an adjustment. And he's going to make an adjustment, and that might work for him, and that might get Bivol in some serious fucking trouble. And that's what I just said, neutral, natural, exactly. He took his foot off the gas against Pascal and Joseph Jr. Those are the last 2 fights. It's going to be a serious problem for Dmitry Bivol, man. What do you think, Bo?
I think you're absolutely right. And I don't understand what this is with him. It's you want to believe that this is a guy that if you put him in there with a killer, he'll turn into a killer. But that's hard for me to believe. Like I hate I'm about to say this, but you don't become a killer overnight. Like becoming a killer is a progression. Okay, there's stages and levels you go to before you finally reach that section of it. Okay, you don't just get thrown in there with the killer and then you become a killer. All right, you have to, like most guys who are killers, they show that right away. Perfect. We just said Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford has been showing us he's a killer long before he won a title. He's been showing us this shit. Yeah. So much so to the point that if he thinks you don't belong in that ring with him, he gonna get you the fuck out of there. Same thing with Gennady Golovkin. Say what you want to say about the guy, okay? But hey, once he realized, man, fuck this, I'm sick of you. You finna get out of here, like he did with Kell Brooks. You know, I'm sick of this shit. You finna get the fuck out of here, okay? He does that. So you have to show that you a killer from jump. I mean, like straight up from jump. And that's Dmitry Bivol's problem is he likes to work. He has a game plan. He works the game plan. He's smart. He has a game plan. He works the game plan. He's like the ultimate chess player. He's like, you know what? I'm beating you with this pawn, so fuck it. I'll leave my knights and my rooks in here. I'll just beat you with this fucking pawn. See? Yeah. And that's just how, you know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what? You know, I only got to move this, move that, and I can still win. Okay, so I'm going to take the path of least resistance. I'm still going to win the fight. And that's just going to be it. It's not to say that the boy don't look good, but what I'm saying is the reason why that a cat like Badu Jack can drop the belt and go fight Adonis is because there's more money in fighting Adonis than fucking with you. See, the reason why you know, you're not on the lips of anybody at 175 when it comes to talking about a motherfucking unification matchup is because it's like, dude, you're not drumming up enough interest in wanting, you know what I'm saying, and wanting us to fight. Like right now, you got Marcus Brown sitting at #1 in both the WBC and WBA. More people want to see Brown fight Gavazic. Nobody's drumming up Marcus Brown fighting you.
Bro, they're not even talking about him being ranked that high in the WBA, man.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. That's how they're not even talking about it. Furthermore, he's not even marketable enough for the fucking WBA to even elevate him to super champion.
I was just finna say, you're absolutely right.
This nigga, this is his 5th title defense of the WBA regular title. And by the way, he was elevated. He didn't fight anybody for the regular title, by the way. He was an interim title holder, and he was elevated to regular title holder right before he fought Trent Broadhurst.
Right,
because it was his first defense. Right, exactly, because he dropped the belt, exactly. So he was elevated there. Now he has 5 title defenses. They won't fucking elevate him again.
No.
I mean, it's a bad situation, man. And he's talking, like I say, he's talking 168. Canelo's still the WBA regular champion there. He's already said he wants a Canelo fight. He ain't getting that.
No, he's not. I agree with you, Tom. I think Bivol does beat Beterbiev. Beterbiev is extremely fucking robotic.
Man, listen,
The problem is they're not gonna make that fight. They'll make Beterbiev and Kovalev before they make him and Bivol.
Bruh, I already said this a million times, man. Artur Beterbiev was made out of old scrap metal parts. This motherfucker's Johnny Five in the flesh, man. Johnny Five, dog. I'm trying to tell you, man. Listen, man. They went to the damn junkyard, got a whole bunch of fucking broken car parts, and built Artur Beterbiev, man.
Oh man, dog, you dumb.
Motherfucker, a robot, man. Everybody beats Artur fucking Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you dumb, man.
Hey, that's it. That's why that motherfucker Sergey. Listen. That's why when they talked about that unification with Sergey Kovalev was like, hell yeah, shit, let's do that. This is right after he beat Eliter Alvarez.
Right.
And then Beterbiev was like,
Beterbiev beat Kovalev in the amateurs.
Right, we already know that. But my point is, when they were talking about that, Beterbiev was like, oh shit, never mind, dog. Hold up, man. I'm about to fight this other cat.
He sure did. Yeah. He sure did.
Yeah. Hold up, man. Nah, I'm gonna fight this other cat. Motherfucker talking all greasy. Then Sergey was like, yeah, motherfucker, let's do that. Then hold on, man. Let me get this fight in real quick. Let me get the fuck out of here, man.
Fight this motherfucker over here, because the reality is we've seen a different wrinkle in Kovalev. We actually see the thing about Kovalev was, I think the Andre Ward fight helped him tremendously. We did find out that he was a little bit smarter of a fighter than what we thought. And then losing to Andre Ward, Kovalev has accepted in the knockout. He accepted that, okay, things that I'm doing isn't right. I'm going to be open to actually listening to my trainer. So what does he do? He brings in the guy I interviewed. What's his name, 2K? Buddy McGirt. Okay.
Yeah, Buddy McGirt.
He goes out, he brings in Buddy McGirt. Buddy McGirt is known for two things. He's known for number one, motivating his fighters. Number two, adding the basics back to your game that you forgot. A lot of fighters forget the basics. So he added the basics back to his game. Okay. And on top of that, like, because when I interviewed Buddy McGirt, he said, man, I took him back to the basics. I told him, look, man, you're not going to knock everybody out. So I took him back to the basics, right? And then on top of that, okay, Buddy McGirt is one of those trainers that if you're not going to listen to him, he's not going to waste his time. So he's added some more wrinkle to his game. That's why in that second fight, like me and 2K was saying, he was going to win that fight as long as he didn't get caught, where he learned how to prevent himself from getting caught. He fights Beterbiev. Beterbiev got his ass dropped against Callum Johnson. We was there.
We were there. We were at that fight.
I was looking at that fight, and I told 2K, I said, yo, is it me or do like Beterbiev is about to check the fuck out? Because that's how he looked. Like when he did not look confident in himself, right? Now, of course, he regained himself. All right. And then, of course, Callum Johnson not being a smart fighter, knowing when he got hurt, what to do to create space, throw the uppercut and stuff like that. He just started wilding out because he got excited he was about to win. And he wound up getting knocked out himself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But when I look at this fight, I agree with what a lot of guys are saying about listen, look, Beterbiev is the dude. He comes to the ring with the boulder on his ankle already, okay? Like, that's how planet this nigga is, dog.
Hell yeah.
He comes to the ring with the gel boulders on him. So, and the fucked up part about it is, if Bivol was doing enough to create enough of a buzz, they'd have been through him in there with Beterbiev. They'd have been through him in there with him. I mean, y'all, both of y'all at the zone. Like, think about this. Eddie Hearn's not even talking about a unification. Eddie Hearn's want Beterbiev and Kovalev more than he want motherfucking Bivol.
Right.
And that's the sad part about it. Nutu Natural said, people were saying Badu Jack duck Bivol to fight Stevenson. You know what? Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing about ducks, okay? Because, when you've been watching boxing a long time, you've seen a lot of things, right? Lennox Lewis once dropped the IBF belt because he didn't want to not fight Chris Bird. But he made a better fight when he fought Evander Holyfield. So if you make a move like that, I'm not necessarily going to call it a duck, because boxing is a business.
Right.
It really is, okay? So if Badu Jack dropped the belt to not fight Bivol, and mind you, he was holding a title, to fight Stevenson, the WBC lineal champion, in a fight that got him more money, I'm not going to call it a duck. Now, if people want to call it a duck, that's fine with me. But for me, if you don't take a fight to make a better fight, or equal to, I don't necessarily call that stuff a duck because again, boxing is a business, and I do understand some things sometimes. So, but yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, man. I didn't even pay attention to that shit. I was just like, hey, whatever. And motherfuckers fighting the longest reigning champion in that division at this point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he's trying to get that bag and that title, which WBC is a more prestigious title than the fucking WBA regular. So I mean, it was a better deal all around. I wasn't even going. Whoever was saying that, that's whatever. Like if I saw some shit like that on Facebook or something like that, I'll just skip over that. Go to the next post. It's too stupid to even address, bro. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like it's the whole thing with Beterbiev, to be honest, which is why I told y'all before, a fight with Anthony Yard, when Anthony Yard and Frank Warren turned down the two offers that they got to fight Beterbiev, that was the stupidest shit ever, man. They might be able to beat that motherfucker. I mean, this will be literally a fight of the century for the robots. You know what I'm saying? You got two robotic motherfuckers in the ring, bro.
Like video game, back Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Yeah, man. It literally be that, bro. For real. Two robotic motherfuckers in the ring. Be a fight of the century. You know what I'm saying? Fight of the galaxy, nigga. Intergalactic robotic championships. You know what I'm saying? That's what they should have did, bro. But I mean, listen, and now Beterbiev is going to be a guy that a lot of these smaller names are going to be targeting because they see that. Like Callum Johnson, for example, he wants that shit again. He wants that rematch, especially after he just obliterated dude tonight or last night. You know what I'm saying? He want that rematch. He was saying he wants to fight the winner of Dmitry Bivol and Joe Smith Jr. But I say go fucking, go after Beterbiev if you can, even though he's on ESPN. See if you can get that again. But yeah, that's gonna be another problem.
Yes, it is.
Beterbiev on ESPN. He left his own, went to ESPN. That's another problem. So maybe he left his own because Dmitry Bivol was coming in. And he said, nah, fuck that, man. I ain't putting me in the ring with that motherfucker.
Yeah, he left his own after that fight where he got knocked on his ass by Callum Johnson.
Right. Yeah. Because there probably would have been a rematch there.
Yeah. Well, say what you want to say about Eddie. I will get Eddie Hearn this. I think he's full of shit on a lot of things, but I will give Eddie Hearn this, unlike Frank Warren. Eddie Hearns will test his guys.
I mean, he's been doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give him that. Eddie Hearn will test his guys. I'll give him that. My man made a comment right here. Okay, KVT I missed this earlier. He said, I get that 117, 111 scorecard, though, based on Porter's performance. Most of us know Porter's come forward style. So in the eyes, it can be perceived that he was reluctant to come forward because of Ugas. That's a very good point, because I did trip about the 117, 111 score, but you're actually absolutely right. And I think I touched upon it earlier saying that a lot of people can feel that way because of Porter's performance. They never seen him box like that before. So that's actually a very good point, KVT.
Yeah, it is a good point. I mean, we pretty much killed that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, listen, man. If you listen to this show and you still don't understand, man, I don't know what to say for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that's always been in the sport. About why Ugas did not get the win in the eyes of the judges. It's always been in the sport, and it has nothing to do with a robbery. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. We're gonna end this shit here. It was supposed to be a quick little show, man, but we get to talking, this shit end up being over an hour. But that shit always happens, man. But go ahead and stay tuned in every Monday and Thursday to this channel, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central, 6:30 Pacific. That's when we bring you multiple topics that we've already reported over on 3kingsboxing.com. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this fight depending on how this video goes, how it's received and shit like that. And, I understand that I got to say things more than once, more than twice. I had to do it on this channel before we started doing the podcast and shit. So it is what it is. I'll be ready for that. But go ahead.
Shout out to Prodigy, man. The man drove a 4-5 hour drive, watched the fights, edit the fights, and still was able to do a show. So, man, props to 2K, the Prodigy, man. We run the website, 3 Kings Boxing. It's a team effort. All right, and we do it. So, you know, shout out to all our writers that covered the fights today. Corey, Big Cool, go over to Big Cool, Colossal Boxing Talk, Mike, who did the zone fights. But like I said, man, I want to thank my man Prodigy, because like I said, he didn't have to do this. You know, he's hanging out on Saturday with his family. You know, so mad props to you, dog. And when you go to church tomorrow, you know, in your nice little tux and everything, you know, you go in there and you blessing Jesus and you singing the hallelujah, I lay my head to prayer. I want you to shout out my name and say, Lord bless Bo, because I'm not going to church.
Well, I appreciate, you know, the you know, understanding my situation, but at the end of the day, nigga, I ain't been to church since I was like, I'm trying to remember, man. We used to go every motherfucking it was every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm burned out on church, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Burnt out on that, man. Sunday,
Dude,
Wednesday, and Friday, bro.
Shit, I had a job at the church. Y'all ever see the Vampire in Brooklyn? I had a job at the church. My hair started smoking. The statue of Mary started crying. I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
Damn. Yeah.
It's getting hot up in here. I gotta go.
Damn. All right, y'all, man. Just don't forget to check us out on Twitter at 3 Kings Boxing, Instagram at 3 Kings Boxing, of course, Facebook.com/3 Kings Boxing. Also, check out the website 3kingsboxing.com. If you don't like all the shit we talk on here, go ahead and check it out. The website, where we don't really talk much shit. We don't talk shit at all. We just keep you informed with all the news and a lot of other boxing information, informing interviews and personal pieces, things of that nature. So go ahead and check out over there. Also, click that donate button. Support the authors. 1 penny, 5 cents, $1. Shit, 200 grand, 1 million if you got it. That's what's up. Hit us up with that. We definitely appreciate the offer or the donation. We appreciate everybody who's donated up to this point. All right. Don't forget, Mondays, Thursdays, 9:30 Eastern time. And we out.